if I'm loud, that's why. First of all, thank you to Mr. Twain. Apparently, the rumors of his death are greatly exaggerated. I am Christopher Allan Poe, and I am a descendant of Edgar. I write fiction. Go figure. It seemed that, I'll give it a little bit of a history. Throughout my life, every English teacher that I have ever had has secretly grabbed me and said, "Hey, Chris, don't you think you want to write?" And every kid that was on the playground would call me Edgar Schmedgar, which I hated. To no end, okay? Teased ceaselessly. And so, for a lot of years, I didn't really get into being a descendant of Edgar. I knew that I was, but I never really broadcast it to anybody because I didn't want to be Edgar Schmedgar. Now, as an adult, as a writer, it's great. But I wanted to talk to you tonight about me. I am a descendant, but what does that exactly mean? A strand of DNA here or there? Was it the name? Was it the fact that every English teacher pulled me aside that led me down this path? I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is what Edgar's worldview is, and it seems to me that every person in this room tonight in some way is a descendant of Edgar as well. For a million different reasons for what he represented for being a writer. Writers have a certain worldview, and I've seen some of the most beautiful minds come together in this room. So before I go one step further, I want to thank Jackie Meter for putting this together. And I would like to thank Jackie Harris as well. I'm here. Yeah, she's over there. Thank you for putting this together. So the reason that I say that everybody here is a descendant of Edgar in some way is because everybody here shares his worldview in some way. And isn't that more important to an author than some offspring that, 4 generations removed? To me, I feel a real kinship with the people that are here. I've heard amazing accounts of UFOs, ghosts, paranormal things, and everybody knows that Edgar is the poster child for the American movement of the paranormal scene. He is the definitive face, and you can't take that away from him. Now, to be sure, many of these stories, especially the Native American legends, go back much further. But if you want to talk about the modern American movement of paranormal, horror, science fiction, if you want, he even invented the mystery novel, which, the mystery novel, which most people don't credit him for.
Yes, he did.
And so, when I think of these traits, there are 5 things that I want to talk to you about tonight that I feel that everybody here possesses for the simple fact that you're sitting in this room. For starters, you're aware. Aware in a way that inspires me about the nature of the world and the things that we see. Now, I'm standing up here in front of you. I'm also a civil engineer, okay? So I have a nice, healthy science background and skepticism to bring to this. And I can tell you definitively that there are answers that science can't bring. And they can't answer the questions of everything that we've seen around here today. This is a world that dictates that you're not allowed to think outside the box. And so most people put on the blinders. I think this starts happening when you're probably around 5, but maybe even earlier, where they tell you you're not allowed to think about these things and investigate them because it's outside of the realm of normal. You're suddenly weird. You're a tinfoil hat person. I should have brought a tinfoil hat. But what it does to people is it creates a groupthink, and when people like you, beautiful minds like yourself, step into this realm, and you say, you know what, I don't care what everybody else has to say. I have seen something. I can tell you right now that I have seen things. I'll tell you a story, and by the way, I'll open this up for questions at the end, and I would love to pick your guys' brain about some of your experiences, because I can only imagine. This is an engineer telling you this story, so it carries a certain scientific weight to it. And it carried a certain scary factor for me. I was in my house, and my lovely wife is what I call a ghost man. We don't have to go ghost hunting because she drags everything back to the house with her. And I wanted to have her here tonight, but she got called into work, so. But, so there's always some strange thing that's happening at my house. And what I do when something weird happens, when I see a little dark shadow out of the corner of my eye, I always go through the house and close all the closets because I am a big fraidy cat and I really don't want to see anything in the closet. So maybe I'll just shut that sucker right up and I won't have to deal with it, right? Well, As I'm in the process, I saw this whole thing out of the corner of my eyes, and I'm looking around. As I'm in the process of locking everything up, I'm running over to the front door and locking it, making sure that everything is okay. As I'm locking the front door, my iMac computer pops on. And there's a band called Garbage, and they have a song that's called I Think I'm Paranoid. I swear, I had chills all over my head the entire night. So this is one of the experiences, unless there's like some weird artificial intelligence inside the computer and screwing with me, which I don't believe, okay? For me, I look at these situations which everybody tries to explain away, and I say, listen, that was proof for me. I saw it. And I'm an engineer, and believe me, I would be laughed right out of the engineering department if I was to tell this to any of them. I'm not with them anymore. But the fact that you're aware makes you a descendant of Edgar. The fact that you won't listen to the status quo and you say, you know what, I believe that there might be something to this, and then you entertain those thoughts is a beautiful thing in this world. The second trait out of 5 that everybody in this room possesses is that you question. You'd be surprised how few people actually question everything around them. I'll give you an example of why it's so difficult in this day and age to question the things that you guys are questioning. Does everybody know who Monsanto is? Yeah. Okay. The corporation that sprayed DDT on school children back in the 50s is the same corporation that sprayed Agent Orange on our troops in Vietnam. And now they're genetically engineering, this is not to be political, so don't get worried. They're genetically engineering fruit. And have you heard that the killer bees are disappearing? They've pretty much linked it back to 2 particular seeds that Monsanto is putting out. And the good news of that, this is actually a great story. If they stop using them, the bees come back right away. So it's not like gloom and doom or end of the world or anything. So where would we be in this world if we didn't question this thing? We have to question our corporations because they have a morality problem. We have to question our government because they have the same problem. Does anybody here have any clue of how many nuclear weapons the United States tested in the atmosphere? Let's take a wild stab. We've all seen the footage. And just so you know, the final nuclear test that they performed was probably 10,000 times the size of Hiroshima, which killed 100,000 people. Okay? 400 atmospheric tests. Some of them 500 miles off the coast of San Diego. The most amazing thing that you would ever see. You'd think that, that somebody would have questioned or stopped it. That's why it's so important to question. Now, you're allowed to question corporations and government, and you have a side. But the minute that you question the nature of who you are and why you're here, which is really what everybody is questioning in this room, you become something that's untouchable. How dare they say such a thing? Because it deals with the nature of life and death. And isn't that the most important question you can ask on this earth? I was talking to Jackie the other day, and she said a lot of people come to her for advice, and they say, how can I make more money? That's the first question that they're thinking in their minds. How about this? How can I be the person that I was sent here to be? Who am I? Why am I here? These questions are so big that it has a lot of people scared when you ask them. Okay? The third thing that you need to have in order to basically be, that you guys already have as being descendants of Edgar, an entire room full, is that you have open minds. Now, Jackie Meter and I met up. We met up to go on television. We did a little morning show hit with one of my favorite people, with Kim and Kopi. It's in Fresno. I don't know if you guys have heard of Great Day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we stopped off to have hey, we're going to have a conference. Maybe we can get some more heads in. Let's see, what sort of promotion we can do. And Jackie, they were asking questions, and then Jackie said, Kim asked, well, what are you guys going to be doing up there? She said, well, we're going to have a seance. Oh, sorry. You should.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Here, why don't I move around here? I'll project the other direction. Kim asked Jackie what sort of things we were going to be doing, and she said, we're going to have a seance, some ghost hunting, and there's a trick that reporters do. My wife is a reporter. She's in Frankenstorm right now, so I know how I tell her to word things sometimes. You don't want to make it appear as though you're accusing somebody, so you say, what would you say to people who think this, right? And it shocked me to get, what would you say to people from Kim, by the way, who think that that is devil worship.